You can build a flashy offense, hire the right coach, even draft a franchise quarterback. But if your defensive line gets bullied in December, none of it matters. That's what this video is about. The one piece of the Chargers roster nobody's talking about enough, because if this group doesn't take a leap, the whole house might crumble. Now let me ask you, which position group on this Chargers defense do you trust the least heading into 2025? Be honest. Drop it in the comments, and let's see if we're all thinking the same thing. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. All right, let's start where they started, the interior defensive line. Now look, I'm going to be blunt here. This is the most uncertain group on the entire defense. And no, that's not me being dramatic. You've got a room with bodies, sure, but not a single surefire anchor outside of Tear Tart, and even he's more of a solid than a star. Tart is clearly the guy right now, the only returning piece that showed real consistency last season. You look at his snaps, you look at the per-play pressure numbers. He wasn't just decent, he was quietly efficient. He stepped in when Otito Ogbonnia started to fade, and he earned his role. But here's the thing, we're projecting him as a solid starter, maybe even pushing higher. But let's be honest, we haven't seen him carry that kind of load across a full season yet. Now, as far as the rest of the room, it's all projection. We're talking about Deshaun Hand taking over those Morgan Fox pass rush snaps. We're hearing positive camp buzz, but let's be real. It's June hype. Hand's ceiling is probably the best among the rest, but that's based on flashes, not resume. You want to label him an average starter? I'll allow it. But even that feels like a hopeful reach until we see it. Then you've got guys like Naquan Jones, Otito, Jamari Caldwell. And if we're honest, most of them are somewhere between pure backup and rotation piece. None of them scream every down solution. Maybe Caldwell finds his stride, but rookie DTs don't typically come out dominating, and that's a trend for a reason. Scott Matlock? Honestly, I still think he should be playing offense. The fact that the staff's still trying to make him a defensive tackle feels more like a placeholder move than a real plan. Maybe they will give him spot reps. Maybe not. And look, this is where I miss Poona Ford. If they had brought back Poona and paired him with Tart and Hand, we're talking about a legitimately functional DT room. But they didn't. Instead, they went on the quantity over quality route, and now we're in this mess of figuring out who's even making the roster, let alone contributing. Let me say this loud for anyone still riding the optimism train. If this team opens the season 3-0, if they're sniffing playoff contention, you have to make a move here mid-season. You can't go into January with this defensive tackle group and expect to hang with the big dogs. Okay, now let's move to the edge group, which is, thankfully, in a much better place. Khalil Mack, still elite, still Pro Bowl caliber. Don't overthink it. The guy is a dominant run defender. And while he might not put up 17 sacks again, 10 to 11 sacks with top 5 edge setting, that's Pro Bowl all day. I know some folks worry about his age, but the guy is training MMA with Derwin James and still grading out elite on film. He's not falling off a cliff anytime soon. Tuli Tuipulotu, I've said it before, I love this kid. He's a solid starter right now. The question is, can he be more? His run defense is already elite. His motor's ridiculous. But is he ever going to be an all-pro level pass rusher? Maybe not. He doesn't have freaky athletic traits, but he will make life miserable for tight ends and below-average tackles, and that's huge. If he gives you 40 pressures and 8 sacks again, that's a win. Behind those two, you've got Bud Dupree and Kyle Kennard. Let's not overhype them. Rotation players, special teams snaps, depth insurance, and that's fine. Because unlike the DT room, the edge group actually has structure. And now let's pivot to the linebackers, because this group actually kind of surprised me during the tier breakdown. So here's a hot take for you. Troy Dye was the most underappreciated player on the defense last season. Seriously, when he got real snaps, he was always in position, rarely out of place. I think he was a borderline solid starter. He's not flashy, but the tape doesn't lie. He gets it done. If the staff actually trusted him with more volume, I think he could show even more. Now, as for Denzel Perryman, love the guy, but he's a rotation piece. Pure run support. Occasional blitzes. Not a coverage asset. He's going to give you first and second down thump, but don't expect him to be more than that. Junior Colson is a big variable. The team is clearly high on him. And I get it, he's got the build, the traits, the Michigan connection. But his play last year, it wasn't great. He wasn't healthy. Didn't have a real offseason, so for now, I'm putting him as an average starter with some upside. And finally, Daiyan Henley. This guy is the real deal. Pro Bowl caliber. Maybe even higher if he cleans up the missed sacks and grabs those tipped interceptions. He's explosive. He's instinctive. He was everywhere last year, and he's only getting better. If there's a star rising on this defense, not named Derwin or Tuli, it's Henley. Now, moving to safeties, Derwin James. Automatic all-pro discussion. We don't need to waste time here. He's still one of the most versatile DBs in the league. Period. Elijah Molden, though, is where it gets interesting. He's not a big name, but man, if you watch closely, his tape pops. Elite run fits, smart man coverage, ball skills. He could have had 5 picks last year if a few bounces went his way. I'm putting him solidly in the solid starter tier, with Pro Bowl upside if he stays healthy and gets more usage. Alohi Gilman, average starter. I like him. He gets takeaways, but he takes bad angles, misses tackles, and doesn't offer the consistency Molden brings. As for depth, Tony Jefferson and R.J. Mickens both have a shot. I'd trust Jefferson more on the field, but Mickens brings more special teams value. Depending on how the roster shakes out, we could see 5 safeties make it, especially with Derwin spending so much time in the slot. Let's move to the corners, and this is where things really get chaotic. Your top 3 right now, Tarheeb Still, Cam Hart, and Dante Jackson. That's your trio. And let me just say, Tarheeb Still is a stud. Smart, quick, great instincts. But with the matchups coming this year, we're talking top-tier wide receivers almost weekly. He's going to get tested a lot. He's a solid starter for now. I think 2026 is his breakout year. This year, there will be ups and downs. Cam Hart, same tier. Average starter. Great when healthy. The big issue is staying healthy. That's why they signed Benjamin St-Juste. Tall, rangy, and he looks like Cam's twin on tape. Dante Jackson, veteran floor. Nothing more. I don't see him being a huge upgrade over Christian Fulton, maybe trending down if you ask me. Guys like Josser Taylor and Dean Leonard, they're in a battle. Taylor's gotten praise from the staff. Even Harbaugh named him as an ascending guy. So right now, I think he's a safer bet to make the roster over Dean. I want to like Trickweez Bridges, but I just don't think they're keeping 6 corners. If they do, someone in that group, Taylor, Bridges, or Leonard, is gone. And given how loaded the Chargers are at running back, tight end, and elsewhere, that decision is going to be brutal. So, as for the defense as a whole, solid. Top 10 last year in most categories. But again, let's not ignore that they beat up on bad teams. There's real regression potential here. The DT room is thin. The corner room's unsettled. I think they land somewhere in the 12 to 15 range. And honestly, that's still a win given the roster. That's all I've got for now. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you. Drop your defensive breakout pick in the comments. And if you think this team is just one trade away from elite, let me know who your target would be. See you in the next one.